Good find the switch, very well, just button off inside.
I still want to turn that one.
Okay, I'm gonna call the meeting to order at 6 o'clock. If everybody could stand for pledge of allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Before everybody sits, if we could just have a moment of silence to honor 9/11. Thank you.
The owl,
The owl is on.
it is. Okay. I didn't hear it.
Okay, so we have two agenda adjustments. One is accounts payable warrant, and the other one, I want to add this letter that I was handed to new business. We could add this as J. Letter. Anybody else have any agenda updates or new
No,
updates to the agenda?
yes, actually, at some point, we need to discuss the bill for the international,
Okay,
so
under, what do you want to, huh?
under new.
No. Okay,
Okay.
okay. International. And I want to say for everybody that's here, thank you. And for the people at home, try to get Facebook up and running. And is this on? I don't know.
I said, is the owl on? You said yes.
Um,
I don't believe it is. It's not plugged in, sweetie.
yeah. Well, don't mind me, guys. But for everybody at home, we tried to get Facebook Live up and running today. And YouTube, our YouTube channel up and running today. But I can't get them. We're in the verification process for our YouTube channel, but there is a YouTube channel for the town called Town of Canton, Maine Streaming. And that's where all of our recording,
Yes.
all of our recorded videos of our meetings will be uploaded to there for if anybody wants to look at them later. Okay. So why don't we start with approval of minutes? And then we will open it up for public comment. We'll do 2 public comments tonight because we've got quite a few people here.
Make a motion to approve the minutes as well. Second.
Have a motion and a second. Any discussion? Nope. All in favor of approving the minutes as read? All opposed? I was in favor too, for who I was taking that.
I am. Fine.
All right, open it up for public comment. Anything?
Going once, going twice.
No. Okay. All right. Move on to old business, stump removal update.
I had Andy roll one of the piles around and separate the dirt from the stumps. It is the remaining pile that is actually stumps is probably only 1/3 of the size of what the original pile is. So I'm going to say that any chipping estimates should be much lower because the piles are not what we think they are. So
How much time would it take to do that?
how much long did it take him to do it? 2.5 hours. So that's not real effective. If he'd had an excavator with a thumb, it would have been obviously much faster, but
So you just did it with the bucket?
he took the bucket up.
Yeah.
So. That's where that is. So we may have to reach out for new estimates on pricing.
Is that something that you think,
The stronger.
Songways, yeah, would actually relook at, or no?
I'm sure you would. I think they took into account some of that. I don't know how much detail they went into looking at, because they, obviously didn't have anybody take the file apart. and
Yeah.
look at it. So I can talk to them again.
And then, didn't you talk to a couple people too, Carol?
Yeah, but they didn't have the capability, not
Oh, all right.
this year. I hadn't talked to him, I had the capability to.
Right,
It was-
okay.
yeah.
So I'm thinking anybody that we got estimates from, if we could have them relook at it, and
Yeah.
now that it's all kind of been
Yeah,
taken apart. All right. Anything else on the stump removal update? No, okay. Aquafire discussion update, do we have any updates on that?
we just had what Diane had sent us in the email, and I don't know whether I interpreted that correctly or not, but it didn't look to me like the wells were something that we could do there.
Oh, that's right, I did remember seeing that too, and it was
The
something,
test wells that Sean wanted.
Right.
But she'd sent us an email last week, maybe. 2 weeks, I don't know.
It was
And-
last week.
Yeah, it didn't sound like it was something that would be allowed.
Really?
Yep.
I must have missed that.
yeah, no, I have to reset the camera, it's
Gotcha.
driving me nuts. Yeah, it looked like that we couldn't put, I'm actually trying to look for the email that she sent, but it doesn't look like we could put pumps, right?
Right, he's not looking for a structure, it's just a wellhead. So-
Right, but there was some real fine lines in the language there that made me wonder if it was. I think we need to get basically a second opinion or something on that.
Yeah, I can't find that email, so I can't
I
even
don't
look,
think I saw
look it up to refer
You
to
probably
it.
didn't, because she doesn't, she sends it.
I think it was
on-
entitled
She sent
FEMA.
it on
Yeah.
the 31st. You should start on the 31st. And she sent it to our Walker at Canton.
Oh, she did send it.
Yeah.
Yeah, she did send it to your own. I'll send it to you.
Okay. That's it.
Christie, can you resend that to me too, just so that I can? For some reason, I know I had it and I know I saw it, but I might have accidentally hit delete on it and I wanted to save it.
So there's one line that says allowable uses generally do not include. And then there's a whole list, and one of them is ground pumping or switching stations
Yeah.
above ground, which we know, and below ground storage tanks. Parking lots, offsite fill. Obstruct the natural beneficial functions of the floodplain. It's kind of a gray area.
Yeah,
Mhm. Yeah, it was the pumping station that I was kind of like thinking,
Yeah, but he's not gonna have a pumping station.
yeah.
Right, it's just a wellhead, but it says underground, so.
yeah, so I don't.
I'd have to see it, but
I'd have to-
what you said was underground storage, which he's not really doing, he's just piping it out.
No, it says below ground pumping,
Yes,
below ground pumping.
I'd want some more clarification.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I agree.
So we would definitely need to get more information from him. All right, so I just wrote down that we need more information from Sean, and then we need clarification about that, the
Mhm.
FEMA wording. All right. Christie, do you have any updates on the old school? I know we had that meeting.
Yeah, so we had a Zoom meeting with AvCog, the Androscoggin Valley. And so we talked about brownfield money that they have, but unfortunately. The initial thought is that we don't really qualify for any of the funding. They had a couple other avenues they're gonna look into, and then, Brian and Carol were looking for some old information, and sounds like that's a little bit questionable too, so we need to send that out.
Yeah, we're gonna send it to Jack.
To Jack and get a second opinion on the deed, and it's a technicality of how we received the building is where the hangup is for the
Right.
funding. So we're kind of on a standstill at the moment, but I mean, there's still a couple different avenues that we can look into, so just kind of keep muddling through it, basically. I think Brian gonna send an email to the lawyer about
He
that?
did, and hadn't heard back from him yet.
Yeah.
When I talked to him at 2-ish or so.
All right, anything else on that? No. All right, moving on to the buyout lot mowing bid openings. That what this is?
Yeah, that's what it is.
Okay. All right. We have one bid for, $4,000 one time per year lot during the month of September or October for a rate of $150 an hour. And the equipment would be an Oliver tractor with a 6-foot bush hog, Kubota tractor with a 4-foot bush hog or equivalent.
Who's that from?
And this is from Sean Goodrow Contracting.
Was that hourly rate or was that a total?
150.
Both.
Oh, no,
It was both. It said $4,000 one time per year. No, per year per lot during the month of September or October at a rate of $150 an hour. It was, yeah. So there's two prices there. $4,000 one time per year per lot for the month of September or October at a, and then the rate says $150 an hour with that equipment, if you want to look at that. The next bid I have, is $100 an hour for 120 HP tractor, 10-inch wide bush hog. And this is from Rocky Ridge Livestock LLC. Last one we have is from Boondocks Farm, Jody Brown. And this is for $80 an hour. For bush hog and finish mower. All three of them said they were fully insured.
What size mower along? What's the other one? Was the 6-foot and the 10-foot?
Yeah. We had a 6-foot, a 10-foot, and we don't have that. Jody, I saw
Mine's
Jody
6
walk
foot.
in. Okay, 6-foot. I was gonna say, I saw Jody walk in. So 6-foot. That's all we got. Open it up for conversation. Well, that's why I didn't originally didn't even look at you. They're not gonna look at you.
We got 80. I'm not a car person, no, but you know numbers.
I do, you're correct, we have an 80 per hour.
Anybody else got anything to say?
Yeah, we have an $80 an hour, $100 an hour, or $150 an hour. I'm personally confused with the way that this one is written, the one for $150 an hour. Because there's two different,
I think my take on that was it was $150 an hour. Capping at 4,000.
okay,
Was what my take on it was.
gotcha.
But-
Okay,
But I don't know, because I didn't write it. I'm stealing that one for a
Yeah.
second.
and then,
The only difference we have is the size of the bush hog. So
yep,
just because.
so we have a 10-inch wide bush hog.
No.
I mean, 10-foot wide bush hog,
Oh, no,
With
my little razor.
120 horsepower tractor for $100 an hour. We have a 6-foot bush hog with a finish mower for $80 an hour. And we have a 6-foot bush hog with a Kubota tractor with a 4-foot bush hog for $150 an hour.
Can I ask you a question? Because I'm not a farmer either. What's the difference between a finish mower and a bush hog?
Finishes it like on the lawn.
Like a
Like
lot.
your regular lawn tractor, bush hog, you can mow bushes and.
Hey, I wish I was my.
Yeah, it's just a little cleaner look per se.
Mhm.
So
So was yours an official motion?
I believe so, yes.
Thank you much.
I'm willing to hear
Alright.
motions.
I make a motion that we accept the bid of Boondocks Farm at $80 an hour.
I will
Okay.
second that.
Motion second. I know you're abstaining, Christie. Conversation, discussion?
Well, I like the idea of being able to go over it with the finished one afterwards and not have it be bush hog shaggy. Which may be stupid, but
All right. All in favor to go with Boondocks Farm at $80 an hour? All opposed? Okay, so Boondocks Farm. All right.
did you say that?
Edmonds Road follow-up complaint. Do we know where that?
It's done, so somebody needs to go check and see if it's been taken care of.
Okay, thank you. All right, so just planning on somebody to go follow up with that. Who wants to take that on?
Before we do that, can we tag into the Hayford Court one and where we're at with that?
Yeah, so I know when that question got bounced around, I had recalled that we had said that, Donna and Scott were gonna go look at it. But I don't think we decided who was gonna contact them.
I thought we said the office was making that call.
Oh,
Not according to the minutes. I write down everything.
yeah, I don't remember like who we said was gonna have that, so. Who was gonna do that, so, I can reach out to them. I had reached out to them initially for this Edmonds. Road complaint, and I never got any return calls. But I can reach out to them for this one too and ask them to go.
Well, we need to do it because she did come in and we told her we would, so.
Yeah, absolutely,
Yeah,
I agree, and I think
Yeah.
that that is our procedure, is to have the health officer and the CEO go look at it. Before we
Yeah.
send out in letters.
And when you're talking to him, have him swing up by.
Edmonds Road to
'cause
check it
he's
out
got
again.
four
Right.
thousand.
Right, exactly, yeah,
So we can tie it
absolutely.
all in, so.
So I will.
Yeah.
I will give them both a call tomorrow. About Edmonds Road and Hayford Court. Let me just let myself a note. Cause I'm not gonna remember that.
It didn't go the first time.
Angie, if I need their contact information again, I'll just reach out to you. How's that?
Absolutely.
All right. Comp plan update. I do have a comp plan update. It was just emailed out. So that was, I was looking at it. Am I in my son? Oh, okay. All right, so the comp plan update was, so the last public brainstorming meeting is gonna be this Sunday, September 17th at 1 p.m. at the Canton Historical Society. They will be covering the last few chapters and seeking public input. They plan to have a complete draft of the plan to the select board by October 9th. And they would like to schedule a working session with us in October. That the joint document can then go to legal review and a public hearing, and then once feedback from those two sources is incorporated, it would go for a town vote. So that is the comp plan update,
What time is that meeting on Sunday?
1 p.m. this Sunday. Any questions with that? All right. New business, ACO absence protocol.
Is he here? Because he asked for me to send the Zoom link, which I did, so I don't know.
I
if he's
haven't
on
seen
here.
it.
Oh. I have somebody, see, I'm not paying attention to the waiting room over here.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yes, there he is.
So there he is.
There.
He's muted.
Oh, so I know I just let you in, Rich. We are on the ACO absence protocol. If you wanted to say any comment to that?
We have to.
Nope, he can unmute himself. I can unmute him though. No, I have to ask him to unmute.
Can you hear me now?
Yeah, we can hear you now.
Oh, all right. Did I miss something?
No, I just noticed that you were in the waiting room when we came to the point on the agenda to talk about the ACO absence protocol.
Okay.
So I was asking if you had any feedback about that.
Nope.
Okay, well, I asked for this to be put on the agenda, Rich, because I personally had two complaints about. One was an injured dog and I guess the other one was wandering around. No, the other one was tied outside and someone complained that they felt that it was too hot.
Okay.
I personally am not comfortable transporting an injured animal in my personal vehicle because. Number one, I don't have the training for it, I don't have the equipment for it, and I don't have the insurance for it. So is there some way that we can have a neighboring town's ACO cover for us?
You know, I've looked into this a lot and I've talked to Wendell Stroud's a friend of mine. He covers Turner, Leeds and Lewiston. And what it boils down to is insurance. And I've tried to get a mutual aid agreement going with Lewiston and Turner for when Wendell goes on vacation, for when I go on vacation. And basically we're not going to cover you liability wise. So it would have to be a mutual aid agreement and the other ACO would have to be covered under, Canton's insurance and vice versa.
Years ago, wasn't that in place years ago?
No, we've never had a mutual aid agreement. And I've actually been slapped a couple times by Lewiston for helping Wendell out because their PD keeps reminding me, if you get hurt, we're not covering you. So I kind of had to tell them to go pound sand when they called me a few weeks ago. It's not worth it liability wise for either of us to get hurt working for another town.
Right.
Mhm.
I understand what you're saying, but on that same avenue. I've worked with animals all my life. I'm not scared of them, but as we all know, an injured animal can be aggressive when they normally wouldn't be.
Yeah.
I don't know that. I think it's fair to any selectman, whether it's Canton or any other town, to take on that responsibility. So should we be calling state police, Oxford County? I'm just
I
not
would call-
comfortable. Go ahead.
I'd call animal welfare. They're our state agency. They've got 6 of these state agents that don't do much. And they're the next viable option when I'm not available.
Okay.
Good
Could
luck
you send
getting
us
there.
some- Well, that's what I was just gonna say. Could you send the office some contact info for those?
I can send you the main number. The one we had in this
Yep.
area got done. And the regime up there has totally changed in the last couple of months. And I know with Lewiston PD, they're not being helpful whatsoever. So I'll send you the main number. I'll send it to Angela. She can give it to you. And then you can try to deal with their director, Rhonda. Good luck with that. It's not, we used to work very closely up until Liam Hughes, a former director, got done. And since this woman Rhonda has taken over, it's a shit show. It just is terrible. So.
Okay.
Is it worth trying to pursue a mutual aid agreement with these towns, or you think it's futile to try?
Well, Lewiston's point is we're big. We have a police department. We have officers that can cover him when he's gone. So we don't need you. Yeah, their officers cover me.
What about Rumford?
Like,
Yeah, what about a smaller town?
we could try that. I mean, you could try with Turner. Wendell works with Turner. He works with Green. He's got Leeds, Wales, basically all the surrounding towns.
Do you have any experience with who covers that in Rumford, Mexico?
Yep,
That area?
yep. I wouldn't want him stepping foot in Canton,
Okay.
unfortunately.
That was my next question was what's it worth to pursue a mutual aid agreement with them, but thank you, you answered that.
Maybe Livermore Falls, the guy over there, he's been doing it a year and a half. He's pretty good. And the new town manager over there is Carrie. She was a town manager in Livermore before she went to New Gloucester, then got out of it. But now she's back in it. I would almost start with Livermore Falls.
Okay. Here, Castongua, correct?
Yes.
Okay. Thank you for the info.
Yeah,
Yes,
thank you for that.
Something worth
Yeah, you're welcome.
pursuing, because we just don't have the.
Well, and
Tools.
we all work too, so.
Right.
Right. Yeah, no, I think it's worth looking into getting a mutual aid agreement for sure.
Absolutely.
It just boils down to liability. That's the big thing.
Mhm.
Because like you said, dealing with an injured animal, if I'm off and somebody gets bit, it's liability.
Yeah,
So, and I don't think the mutual aid liability insurance through MMA is all that much. But I would definitely start with Livermore Falls.
thank you for that.
Yeah, because I know Carrie, she's a go-getter and she likes to expand her resources and she's worked with me a lot, so it would be beneficial for them as well.
Sounds
Perfect.
like a plan then.
Yep, sounds like a plan. Thanks for that.
Thank you.
Yeah, it's going to be easier than dealing with the state, trust me.
We will.
How did that dog make out anyway? We know.
By the time dispatch got in touch with me, and then I called the person that had initially called dispatch, she had found the owner. So.
That happens a lot. That's good.
And the second dog, actually, I was with our highway department when I received the call. And they were headed down by where that dog was, so they swung in and there was no dog outside, so. I don't
Welcome to
know.
my world.
I don't want to be there, thank you. But, so it all worked out in the end, but
Good,
I was lucky,
good.
so.
That's good.
so.
All right.
Well, thank you, Rich.
Yeah, keep me in the loop. Let me know what Livermore Falls says. So we'll go from there.
Perfect.
Okey-dokey.
Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, thank you.
All right, does anybody want to volunteer for reaching out to Livermore Falls? And, I don't know, you seem to know knowing the person.
She sat in on some interviews we had,
Oh, okay.
so. I don't care, I can call up.
I can look at, the mutual aid information on MMA and see what that looks like. And if I can, yeah. MMA is usually pretty easy to navigate, so sure I'll be able to find that. All right, anything else with that?
Nope,
Bear Mountain Riders ATV Club.
The percent, the trail master. We just formed the club just recently, but we got every road in town acceptable for ATV. That's the first question everybody asked me was, can we get to the stores now in Canton? No, that's Canton. We would like to get Staples Hill Road because it's the shortest, quickest way here.
Mhm.
And I think it would benefit all the businesses. We're knocking on the door, getting for room, which would bring in even more business. With the pull from Dixview and Rumford riders. We just like to be able to get to your town. I mean, most Hartford people shop here anyway.
Mhm.
It's like, we go to all your functions and everything else. We just like to be part of it.
So looking for access or making Staples Hill an access road.
Road,
didn't we cover this a few years ago?
2019, yes.
I thought so.
This is a different year.
Right, no, I was just,
I did, it was.
Yeah.
I tried in 2019.
yeah,
So I'm not aware of what happened in 2019. I wasn't on the board then. So yeah. Do you remember what happened?
oh, I
Carol?
did, yeah, the board at the time. Wasn't comfortable making that decision. When it is basically in people's dooryards, we wanted their input.
Mhm.
And it never went anywhere from there, but I guess go ahead.
Keep in mind that Main Street, Lisbon Falls, there's thousands of people that live.
Right,
I think they went and knocked on every door to ask.
no, I'm,
I mean, if you go right downtown to the stores and the restaurants, and they just did Concord Street in Rumford.
I will also say that those towns had their own police forces that can patrol it, we have nothing. And my concern,
State trooper was right on.
no, he's retired,
You might,
he retired,
every day.
yes.
Yeah.
My concern is. We have cars speeding there already. We're undoubtedly would have, not saying all ATVs, obviously, but. You know, as well as I do, there are some that would.
There's 10% that.
I know, I understand, but we have no policing capabilities. By the time we called Oxford County, which could be in East Overshoe.
Right.
That ATV is long gone. That's my only
But
concern.
it's not just unique to this town.
No, I know that.
I had a camp in Heartland. And Heartland, I don't believe that.
Right.
You could go downtown and
Yeah.
shop. Harmony.
I'm just speaking from my view on this town. I mean,
Just-
other
just
towns
saying,
are,
it's not unique,
no, I know that.
and it's up to us to police ourselves too,
Mhm.
you know.
That's a happy thought.
Well, we did not, I've done it on a snowmobile, but
Yeah.
people over, shoot them out.
I can tell you from my point of view, trying to tell somebody something, you get told to go to hell and F off quite a bit. It is quite pointless to try to police somebody.
Mhm.
And no, Warren, if I may, so I'm David Style, I was elected the president of the new club. And we did a lot of research into starting a club. And one of the people we worked with was the club down in Sumner. And because they've come a long way, they've gotten road access and all of that as well. And one of the things he checked into was talking to the Oxford County Sheriff's Office and the wardens. And both of them are very much in favor of road access. And the sheriff actually said it's about time, because almost every town in the county has road access for ATVs. And typically, the people that are ATV enthusiasts are very respectful because they know they have that to lose. If they get a lot of complaints and everything, then, you know, that can be taken away. So in that research, like I said, the game wardens and the sheriffs are all forward. And they actually stated that once you have ATV access, they're obligated to patrol the area more because of that, which is a good thing as well. So Hartford's in the same boat as Canton. We don't have our own police.
Mhm.
And the sheriffs aren't out this way as much. It's a large county, but what they stated to him and he passed on to us was the fact that they would actually patrol more because of that. So,
Well, I agree with you on that, because I do patrol the boat launch lot. Well, I saw that game one like 10 times up close. So I do agree with them on Staples Hill.
I still think it
Yeah.
needs to be, we need to visit the residents on that road that would be affected.
What would you think, Michelle? You would look, yeah.
I live on the road, yeah. I think that I would not feel comfortable making that decision for everybody that lives on the road. Personally, I do think that it would be worthwhile having a meeting with everybody that lives on that road to make that decision. I personally would say I'd be okay with it personally as a resident on that road, but I am not the only person that lives on that road. And I would also want the sheriff office and game wardens. I would like to have like a meeting with all, and I know everybody has something to say and I want everybody to be able to say something. So go ahead, Brian. I know you were trying to talk and then I know you have your hands up and you have your hand up. So go ahead.
Well, my first question is, we have a meeting once a month, fourth Monday, 6:30. And they've been invited and they've never come to one of our meetings. And my door is open and we have a policy about doing things.
Mhm.
And I agree with everybody. We have to be real cautious about what we're doing. We need to talk to the people that live in that neighborhood, because I wouldn't want all of a sudden open something up and we're gonna have a can of worms to deal with. We want to make everybody involved
Right.
and know what's going on and the process. To be on the safe side with everybody.
Yeah,
I want their knowledge.
I wouldn't want somebody to say this decision was made
I
without
just
their knowledge
just one or
or
two
without.
people saying,
right,
we're
exactly.
gonna open this road, and we've had problems. I've dealt with problems up there years back, and you know, it was.
And there are a lot of speeders on that road.
Yeah,
And even though there is no access
That's
on
why I
that
said
road,
we have to be very cautious.
yeah.
How we go about access roads.
And even though there is no access on that road,
There's a lot.
there's a lot of activity on that road, right? So it's already happening.
So I want to follow up on that. I'm Jessica Brooks and I'm the business manager of their Mountain Club. I was actually on the committee to help open the secondary roads in Hartford, and we did do a lot of research, and we did have a lot of residents that were concerned about it, and we didn't want them to feel dismissed. We wanted to find out what their concerns are and what we can possibly do to combat. And really, at the end of the day, it's all speculation. What we do have in our favor today is technology and cameras.
Mhm.
And what I will say is, since we've done this, we haven't had any complaints, but we have had people actually say, people have slowed down going by my house now on their ATV because it's posted. It also gives the wardens better access of being able to handle issues if the road is posted ATV accessible. So there is, there's no liability whatsoever to the town. It's a motor vehicle transaction, I guess. Stop, if you would, any ticket that you get on the road, you get on an ATV if you're on the road. So, and like we did say, I did talk to the fish and game warden around here too, Mindy, she's really great. She's gonna be patrolling our area more too, because now Hartford's secondary roads are open. So we'd just like for you guys to maybe reconsider, all of these areas are starting to open up, and right now Canton's landlocking like 6 different towns from getting around. And getting fuel and giving you money. Giving your town money.
Well, if it went to a local farm, they'd open.
Now, just a second. Jody, that is completely unfair.
No,
I am not going to speak for the 30 residents that we have on Staples
When
Hill.
I talked to Chris up there, he saw four-wheel go by, and he said if you open access, we could police it better.
They can police 108, that's wide open, and how many times do you see them stopping somebody?
I don't see my roof for.
And no, exactly, so. I mean,
But I seen that Mindy on 108 stopping snowmobiles. I have seen that.
All right, yeah, you have something to say.
My name is Susan Goulet, and I am from C.M. Brown Big Apple Stores. We have arrangements with many folks across the state. We are a family-run company. I report directly to the president in South Paris. We, of course, for $1 sold the hall to the Historical Society. We want to be good community members. We do trail grants for the Snowmobile Club as well as the ATV Club. And if we feel there's any community pushback or any problems, we go directly to the club and they handle it. They'll even come and put up cameras when we have some issues in our Medway location, and you know, it brings a lot of business to our store, which we really appreciate. But it also makes it so that we don't have people that shouldn't be whipping through our parking lot from a different town trying to get through to the next trailhead. They tend to, when we get the roads open to trailhead, they seem to be more respectful because they don't want to lose it.
All right, I'm gonna look at the Canton ATV. Oh, go ahead, before.
Yeah, same thing as, I'm from Canton Variety. Just bought the business in this year starting, and when Dan reached to me about ATV club, like for the trail, it would bring us a lot of business because I'm trying to remodel the building. So I don't know how old it is, but
It's old.
people tell it's like 50 something years old. So yeah, and it would bring a lot of business to us because we have a snowmobile track just outside, and a lot of the snowmobile people, they come in, have food, have drinks and stuff, it's like a bit stuff, have gas. So yeah, it will be beneficial for the business too. Yeah. So I'm in favor of it, but rest on the residents on Staple Hills, yeah, after the subject approval.
I feel, Canton has a fantastic resource, it's called Route 108. Everybody gets off the main turnpike, he goes to Rangeley, comes right through here. And, you've got a couple of businesses where they stop, and get fuel and food and all that. And you already have, like he's mentioned, snowmobile trail, the ITS comes right through town. And, it's a great opportunity for Canton to start really promoting the ATVs, the snowmobiles, and stopping here in your town and not just driving through 50 miles an hour on 108.
I'm not denying any of that.
Yeah, Christie?
I see it from both sides. We've had issues where we've had public access because the trail is too close to homes. But I also see the economic value for this town, and this town needs economic value. That's what we need. And I want to support local businesses, but I think we should open it up. I think we should have a meeting about it, invite the residents, and in the meantime, if you guys have information that we can share with the residents, get them information. look at this seriously. And then take a vote on it from there.
Right.
We cannot just, I agree, we can't just make a decision tonight, but I think we should consider it. I
Be
do.
very cautious, you know. And
Yes,
step
yeah, and
lightly.
step like,
We could have a few residents very
Right,
upset.
right.
We wanna go with it calm and smooth, so
exactly,
we can,
So we
you know,
can-
explain everything to them, and
and work with you guys, obviously, you
that's
have to
my
be
thing
like
is, you know,
point people on.
clubs need to work together.
Yeah.
Yep.
absolutely.
So- right, so I do
Yeah.
want to get to, I know you guys have more comments, but I also want to ask our ATV club in Canton, like, if the residents say on Staples Hill said, yeah, we're for this, you know, would there be any concerns from there?
Well, yes and no. I
Okay,
mean, I want people to be happy with what we have, we wanna go with the people. But we've got a curbing on both sides to, pretty halfway up the hill. We have to be cautious about that. There's a few caution things. I mean, yeah, we can put speed limit signs up and stuff, but, you know, I'm all for changes and what we would. I wanna do it the safe way and make everybody happy. We don't wanna
right,
have a few upset, because we don't wanna have the trail for a week, and all of a sudden
Yeah.
have a bunch of complaints after we
Do you guys
bought
still
and
get
paid the
signatures?
signs, and, you know, we
so,
want everybody happy.
Yeah.
right, so would there be any potential barriers that you could think of right now off of the top of your head? If, and I'm saying if, all of the Staples Hill residents showed up at a meeting, voted yes.
I would go with the, you know, way they voted, yes, definitely.
No,
That's-
no, I'm asking you, are there any potential barriers or challenges that you would see like with
Well,
opening that
For
up?
a small club, I've got 34 yards of gravel I gotta take care of.
Mhm.
Gotta go up on Alden Hill and clean out a dozen or more water bars. We gotta brush, and the way the weather's been, I mean, I wanna make sure what trail we have is safe too, we wanna make everything. Be cautious on everything, that's, you know,
Absolutely.
little steps.
And
little
how many
steps.
members do you guys
We
have?
have a dozen.
So
do
you guys
think
have 12.
It would be beneficial to your club if you started having more people through, would that?
Oh, I
bring more
think
members
everybody, I
potentially
this
to
is
your-
well, but
May I?
all I gotta say is be cautious how, you know,
Yeah.
take little steps.
Right.
This gentleman, the ATV club.
Yes.
member in Canton.
And I can make all
He's the president.
For the club has to vote.
I would like to speak to you afterwards, nice to meet you, and
Well,
everybody, but in all fairness,
Meetings.
over the last
Yeah.
4 months. We've reached out to you several times and.
I've been
you haven't
very
come.
busy, but you guys have been invited to our meeting and nobody's come. I mean.
Okay,
we're
that's not
open,
equal.
we're open.
Okay, so, time out, time out, time
No,
out.
no, I'm not gonna.
In 2019, I went to the house.
You want.
As you said,
club
it's a
and you
different
was-
day.
I'm
Yeah.
just
Very pushy and rude.
So, okay, so we're talking about this from like this point
Yeah.
forward. From right here, on.
Saying no, yes.
Something I gotta.
yeah,
Are you really looking for 100%? Is that the goal?
No, 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 no.
no, no, what I,
No.
That's
no,
not gonna happen.
no, no, I'm not looking for
Yeah.
100%, but
Even if
as,
they go up and get 100%,
No,
That's
I
why-
wouldn't say,
that's why
I
we
wouldn't
did-
say 100%.
we're adding more trade system.
Mhm.
We're more than glad to help them with that or take care of the whole thing ourselves.
yeah,
You know, and if he needs help on the end of the trail, we're on now too.
mhm.
And we're more than willing to help them.
So I personally, like Christie said, I don't feel, I would not make this decision without resident feedback and approval.
Yep.
I live on that road that we're talking about. I would love to have a meeting, like I'm all for calling a meeting and having a meeting with, and inviting all the residents on Staples Hill to a meeting. And I would like both ATV clubs present, if that could, if that's possible.
The other thing to consider is possible other routes, or not just opening that particular road. Maybe possibly opening up from the Hartford town line on 140 to the center of town.
Mhm.
It requires a state approval, but there's many communities you go to, like New Sharon. They've got state roads that are 50 miles an hour that allow ATVs.
Yeah.
So that 35 mile an hour stretch, if we could get that opened up as well and work on it jointly and cut down on all of the traffic on one road.
Mhm.
Make sure that it's split up so that you're not sending everybody to one spot. You know, that's unfair to all of us.
Nope, I think that, I'm all for transparency. And I'm like, would want as many people involved in this decision and have as many people be able to voice their opinion in this decision as possible. That's why I would say, like, I would love for both ATV clubs to be there when we do have a meeting with the residents on Staples Hill to talk about what the logistics are gonna be, because I know, like, yes, I'd be for it and I see the value of it, but I'd also have questions too on enforcement and what would that look like and all of that stuff. So, I mean, I definitely think I see the economic value in it for local businesses. I just think that that's not a decision that the board can make for a neighborhood.
Correct.
Even when a decision is made or tried, it can be temporary access. I know several of the towns that we have stores in have permitted temporary access 3, 6 months, whatever, see how it goes, and then they'll continue it. But it tends to make people walk and tread carefully. knowing that
Absolutely.
It's temporary. And
Absolutely, and I think that that's something that the residents on that road really need to kind of voice and, see that that's. plan is
Residential and not just one specific road, though. It would be basically,
Well, it would be opened up
for
to,
the town.
it would be opened up to the whole town. It'll be the people that are specifically directly affected on that road will have a lot of voice. Go ahead, Rob.
Angela, what's the time frame to have a question on the November ballot? Could we have a public hearing and then have a yes or no question on the November?
I want to say it's the end of this week.
18th, I think.
Oh,
That wouldn't be possible,
no, that's not possible.
but we could have a meeting and have a yes or no question in June.
Yeah, exactly. Which would be just in time for ATV season.
So it wouldn't be resolved.
Yeah.
For the rest of this year, but for next year, maybe.
So yeah, I would like for us to sit down at some point and figure out like to propose a meeting for those residents.
We want to have basically a public hearing meeting with,
Yeah.
obviously,
all
it's the town.
Townspeople, a sheriff's representative.
Yeah, the
if we
game
could,
warden.
game warden if we could,
Yeah,
have a meeting and a discussion. And then have a question on June's town warrant. Yes,
Yeah.
no, of town residents for it or against it.
That's a good idea.
We obviously can't do it for November, which is gonna be past your season anyway for ATVs.
mhm,
Right,
mhm.
right. And Brian,
I do have a point to make.
Hang on a second. Will you-
and Brian, I'll volunteer my time with the tractor if you want me.
Yeah.
Pictures cleaned up.
Good.
Yep. And Brian had something to say and then you can make your point.
To me, we should have, Brian Bronson or Brian Milligan.
Yep.
From the ATV Coalition.
You gave me their
Yeah,
information.
then you got the information
Super helpful.
to step on the right,
Mhm.
go on the right progress and stuff too, because they can guide and help.
Right, but if we get all
Like I
these
said,
people
we know
together
it's
in
good
one
to get
place and have
everybody
this
together,
discussion.
but we still have to be
Back it up.
cautious, slow, it's.
Yep, all right, he wants to make a point and then you can go.
Then we're gonna move on.
Basically, we opened up Bear Mountain, and Church Street is open to, we're not gonna post anything because it just became a club and I've got signed yet until next spring, but people love to go up to Bear Mountain, I'm sure,
Mhm.
and they'd be going all the way down Church Street to Mahoney and then on Bear Mountain Road.
Mhm.
And I was up there a couple weeks, nice, really nice ride, so.
Mhm.
This is okay.
I just like to tell you that Brian Milligan is actually the coordinator for this area.
Okay,
So he's the person that you.
that I want to talk to.
Brian Bronson is the state,
He's a
comes
town,
the state,
well,
and
we've been working with Brian for a long time, he's been a great help.
right now, he just.
Brian Milligan.
that town.
Milligan.
Milligan is the coordinator for our
for this
area.
area.
Okay,
We've
yeah,
been working with him for years.
okay. Thank you. All right,
So we have a
The
plan.
only thing left that I would like to say is, if say it does go into effect and Staples Hill is opened up, I would like to have it like Wilton does. I would like speed limits and a curfew.
oh,
We should have a time.
Agreed.
A curfew, I think, would be a good idea.
If it ever happens. it
Wait,
should be-
wait, wait, wait. We've already got a
Yep.
plan in place. These things can be brought up in that discussion. We got a lot of things to go through.
yeah,
so-
and I'm sure there are gonna be other people that have other stipulations that they wanna add, so yeah.
That's the big thing I would like to see.
Yep.
That way we're not getting, my father and I handle 90% of it. Him and I are not getting phone calls at 11:30 midnight.
Okay.
Okay, such and such,
Move
just
on.
Like they
Absolutely,
said, the game one, it's been real good, that she's new. And they jumped on a lot of things this year for us.
yep, thank you, thank you. All right, I
Well, I think
could
it's something
actually,
that we can reach out to all these different groups and
Yeah.
as long as we get a game board and a sheriff,
Yeah,
yeah,
see what their availability is before we schedule something that.
we can, yeah, we can kick around some dates too, and then this way we can offer dates to these other, yeah. Yep, so. I don't know.
Be determined.
Yeah, I would like to try to do it sooner rather than later, more like. Sometime in October.
Yeah, it's bad month.
November is no easier, but I want to do it before the holidays.
I don't think, it's always gonna be bad month somebody, we just
Yeah.
have to pick a date and figure out who the main players are that we can
Yeah.
get here and we should reach out to the residents and on the hill and
Yeah,
make sure that they have it.
but I would personally like to see it in the next 2 months,
Yeah,
as to
no,
have
I
a
think we
meeting.
should. Agree with that.
So I can email out what dates I'm available and then we can kind of figure it out and then we'll go. Select some dates to go to other people. All right. Personnel policy PTO time. Not sure who put that. Oh.
I would just do.
I know, just,
So does Brian's not here. I don't know what Brian wanted to talk about with the personnel policy and PTO time. Does anybody else?
yes, I
know?
do. It is adding sick time in so that the employees are not expected to use their vacation dates or their PTO dates as their sick time. And
Okay.
I had spoken with Andy what he used to get, and I have what Jay does, and I can't find my note that I took on Andy's info. But that's also, I mean, if that's something that we think we need to do,
What was the concern? I missed the concern.
because right now we don't have sick days for the employees and they're asked to use their vacation, days and their personal time off days as sick days.
So in
So,
other words, she wants to break up paid time off, sick days and vacation days and.
no, well,
He wants to leave vacation alone and
Right.
add sick time?
correct. Correct. I'm thinking notes.
Is he still here?
No, he-
Up there at one point.
He was on there for 2 seconds. He didn't even stay on to connect to audio and then he was off. So
Then I guess we.
yeah,
push this off until he.
I think we need to table
Yeah.
this for the next meeting.
Yeah. But I mean, just food for thought, we can, if you guys know of any other places that do it and how they break it down or.
I don't, but I can
Yeah.
do some research before the next meeting and see what I find.
So apparently,
And I don't know if you have any experience with that. Everywhere I've worked has rolled it all into one.
Yeah, it's always been all into one, when I worked with Pineland, all the employees, whether it was sick time or whatever, but that's farm stuff, so.
Yeah,
now
so,
it's
but-
different.
Mine's all broken down.
And, you know,
It's all where you work and
Yeah.
what you wanna do, so we just.
in
have
the
to
world of
stop.
mental health, it's all been rolled into one, so.
It's just what you wanna do, so we just have to decide what makes sense.
And I'll look into like other kind of packages that,
Thank you.
thank you, that have offered
Yeah.
sick time and see what that looks like. You know what, I can actually even reach out to old HR people that I know and see what that looks like.
Mhm.
Or why. We don't, so, but.
That was what that was about.
Okay,
Okay. Town of Canton and Canton Sewer Department Accountant and Office Operating Policy.
I have no idea what that's about.
Brian, is you again?
Brian put that on too, so I don't know what that's about. You know, no, nobody knows. Okay, so I'm gonna table that too. Employee internet computer use policy. Is that
That-
Brian too?
But I do know what that one is.
Okay,
We have employee computer use policy, which we can do away with because it's included in the personnel, the newly updated personnel policy that we did last year. So it's redundant to have the separate policy.
okay. Do we have the personnel policy in here that,
No, you don't, because I didn't know that.
okay, Angie, could you email both of them? And then cause I'd like to look at what's the same and what's different.
Sure, you do have in your packets the internet.
Yeah, I got this one, but if you could email me the personnel one, and then I can look at that. Let's get this with me. All right, to be determined on that one. Job description updates.
Brian.
I did see a whole list of all kinds of job
Yeah, I
descriptions.
pulled those.
You pulled those, and I know,
So when we had our meeting last week in the office that Brian emailed about, we talked about job descriptions and defining them more specifically, so we need to look at from both the deputy and the town clerk and try and get those defined, the rules specifically.
I saw the email come through, but I saw it at like 4 o'clock, so I haven't had a chance to look through those.
yeah, I skimmed through the job descriptions that were attached as part of our packet email. But didn't really know what I was looking at, so.
I think it's a template to start with. And
Well, we
already
have
have
ours, yeah.
ours, so it's to look at and combine and really come up with what the jobs description should be for what's going on in the office with the current employees and how we make it all flow.
So is our job description in here as well?
It is, yeah.
Okay,
Are they both?
I don't know if it's the right one, because I haven't had a given one, so I don't know if that's the right one.
What doesn't?
so yeah, and that was what I got from that email too, is that you were going to like look at, or we were gonna discuss job descriptions.
So they're the last two.
Um,
The town of Canton are the last two.
Okay,
What's last there?
so, well, Angie, I mean, did you have, any, would it, like, so this was to look at job descriptions for you. And was it just you or you and Tara?
We do it here.
Okay.
Yeah.
So compared to this job description for you and then the other job descriptions that you printed, were there certain things that you liked or?
I didn't go into detail. I didn't review all of them, because I
Okay.
just pulled a few that had a lot of the same tasks. But I didn't go through them like detailed.
Okay, all right, then I'd like to take some time and kind of compare all of them.
Was there the deputy clerk description says it came from the personnel policy, but there wasn't a town clerk one in the personnel policy?
I've never seen a contract.
I have it right here.
It was never given to me when I was hired.
I'm not arguing, Angie, I'm just saying I have it here, that was all.
I'm not arguing, I'm just letting you know.
Okay,
Where does that, is that in the personnel policy with the other one?
I'm not sure if it's in the personnel policy. I know we revamped it last year.
this is the one that, all right, yes, yeah, okay.
Can we scan this and get it out to everybody?
I'd like to table this to look, so I can have time to look at all these job descriptions. And then figure out like what makes the most sense and. even Angie, I wouldn't mind sitting down and having a conversation with you on like, what are the different things that we do that would make some sense with you, okay? All right. Okay. Next on here is solar and marijuana moratorium discussion.
Brian.
Brian, for both of them?
We had, both he and I had talked that. Kind of kicked around the idea that maybe that's something we ought to revisit so that we don't end up looking like some surrounding towns on both fronts.
Okay, so I brought up a year ago that I thought it was a good idea for the planning board to come up with a solar ordinance. So I'm in full agreement with that.
Yeah, well, not even so much an ordinance as well as a moratorium on how many we're either going to allow or just say none on agricultural. I mean, we can state that front and then you guys can work from
Yeah.
there on that.
I would, yeah, I would love for the planning board to work on that.
So the last directive we got was to work on the sewer policy, whatever.
Yeah.
And the cemetery. Would you prefer that we bump those back and do solar first?
Yeah, yeah, that's my vote.
Well, didn't
No.
I hear that there was another company interested in a location in town? So yes, my thought would be to,
On what way?
yeah.
Just a question, I just need more information on this, because I don't know what solar and marijuana moratorium discussion is. Is it for a solar farm you're talking about?
Yeah, so we've had a couple of small scale, well, one.
Yeah.
That actually went through, and then we had another one where we got like a huge application and whatever for,
All three books.
3 big binders over there. So that one stalled somewhere along the lines.
Because I do have a solar company to install residential and commercial in Massachusetts and New Hampshire.
Mhm.
Haven't started made yet, but we're planning to start it, so just wanted to know.
Yeah.
This.
Yeah, so I mean, you know, I know when I joined the board, that was one of my things, that I would like for the planning board to work on, and then so that we can kind of look at it as a town and bring it to a town vote on what we want as a town. And I know, that, I'm sorry, I lost my train of thought. I don't remember what I was gonna say next, so forget it.
My question is, maybe, could you guys individually, whatever, okay. If you, I know like right now, the town can only have 2 medical marijuana stores for the ordinance. If you have a suggested number for solar farms, whatever,
I think my
concern.
thought would be is not cutting down massive amounts of trees just to put in solar farms, because it's just counterintuitive. And also not putting it on good agricultural land. But I also don't want to tell a landowner what they can and cannot do with their own land that they pay taxes on. So it's you know, I think it's a bit of a conundrum there.
It's on a private land.
Exactly.
Not on a
Right.
town
But
land,
yes, we're talking about
private land.
town issues that are private, you know, like.
Yeah.
So.
And I
That's
remember
just
what I
one
was gonna
that
say,
goes
I do remember bringing that up just from when we were talking, when I went to a couple of the, comp plan discussions on, you know, preserving our natural resources. That was something that I was talking about, was like really looking at the solar farm stuff.
Rob has been trying to speak.
Oh, sorry, Rob.
It's okay. It says solar and marijuana moratorium discussion. Moratorium is where you just stop for 90 days or 120 days or whatever. So. Based on what this says, we're gonna discuss putting a stop on projects.
Well, maybe that is not entirely the correct wording.
Yeah, I wasn't gonna put it on the agenda, so I have no idea about the wording and why.
But
I think we need to get ahead of it before it becomes,
Yeah,
all of a sudden we have like 10 of them in town and we're like, oh, we didn't even.
Yeah, 10 applications and, oh, we're only gonna allow 3, so which ones do we, yeah,
It's a big thing.
Yeah.
So we need to have a plan. What does the town wanna do?
Yeah.
How do we wanna approach it?
mhm,
We should get out ahead of it before it's.
yeah, I mean-
It's not something this board can do. That's
Correct.
gonna be a town
correct,
decision. And we already know
Right.
we can't get it on from November.
right, but
Right, so
but
we
they in the
should-
meantime, can they,
Yeah,
right,
yeah,
yeah,
Have hearings.
exactly.
Go through the whole process, and our goal, I'm thinking
Yeah.
should be for June.
Yeah.
Get it out for town meeting.
Right,
yeah,
yeah.
yeah.
So the ordinance and, you know. The moratorium.
The moratorium is quite the right word, but the
Yeah.
discussion.
The
I agree with
discussion.
the state law on moratorium out there as well.
Yeah, I was wondering what that was about. I wasn't sure.
this one's you. Sorry.
All right, so, I mean, I think that should go on the next agenda too, to see what Brian's thoughts and ideas were with that. And I don't know, I personally would like to see the planning board work on something on that, on solar.
No, I agree. I mean, if the ordinance already has the limit on the marijuana one, then that's pretty well dealt with.
That's medical.
I know, yeah.
Recreational. Anything,
But
right?
didn't we say,
You did not address recreation.
because it was voted down when,
That's right, it was
Yes,
voted
so
down at the town.
that's a
vote for
no-go
recreation.
anyways. Yeah,
The town didn't want recreational at the town vote.
yeah,
They only voted for medical.
yes.
Okay. All right, Pinnacle Fall cleanup.
Okay, it was brought to my attention that,
It was brought to my attention that,
it was brought to your attention, who brought it to my attention. That a commercial property in town is gonna use cleanup day to get rid of a ton of mattresses,
again,
which you said they done before. That's not what those dumpsters are for.
Mhm.
they completely filled like a dumpster and a half on the first day. So we had people that either had to come back or they just stack stuff. And
Can we just limit it? to What they can bring.
I don't know, do we limit it or do we suggest that they get a construction dumpster? and
Is
dispose of
it residential only? It's not commercial?
I don't know, I don't know. how
When
to-
you get into.
Mhm.
This is a discussion I had back years ago with that commercial property. And it's coming more to a focus again because transfer station budget went up $40,000.
Mhm.
And that's, that commercial property is contributing significantly. To me, that's a cost of doing business.
You have a dumpster, correct? You have a dumpster, correct?
Yeah, I do.
Has anybody reached out to the new
No,
manager, I guess is what you call him?
Yeah.
Of-
I don't even know the name, but
We should.
Yeah.
We Should have a
State,
discussion.
maybe,
Yeah.
Trying to.
Yeah.
Deal with him, kind of.
Mhm.
Well, that's why why I had this put on, especially for the mattresses that you said was planned, but there's gotta be a way, as a commercial entity, they have a way to recoup costs for town citizens.
Right.
How do they recoup increased costs?
right, no, you're right. You're right. Tax write-off if they had a dumpster, so, yeah.
It was a discussion that we had years ago that I lost, and I just figured I'd bring it up again.
Mhm.
I'm not against business, but when it takes advantage of the system,
Yeah, I don't think they should be able to fill a dumpster and a half in a day
It was
Of mattresses.
insane.
of mattress,
Could you
right,
get push up?
right.
I mean, they're there.
Is there gonna be a backhoe out there again?
We're working on that.
Well, I mean, and I'm just thinking out loud, we tell people that we can't accept tires.
Right.
Didn't we say that?
We already
We
said
did,
that.
yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, we can't accept tires, so
Yeah.
mattresses aren't that different.
Yes and no. One mattress from a household
Yeah.
versus a dumpster full.
It was,
Right.
I knew the number, but I can't remember.
Right, so can we limit the mattresses? Can we put a number on the mattresses? That, because we think an average household, if they're gonna get rid of mattresses on fall cleanup day. Or cleanup day. They're probably gonna get rid of 2.
I was gonna
Box
say
spring and a
two.
mattress.
Yeah,
Limits of 1 per, or 2 per household.
yeah,
Yeah,
5, I don't know, what's the number? Not 20.
right,
it was actually more than that.
That was my concern.
right.
Not the
I mean,
digits.
I'd be perfectly fine with limiting.
I mean,
it to-
I get the fact that they pay a high tax bill, et cetera, et cetera.
But that's taking
But,
advantage of
no,
a
and that's-
service for the
exactly.
citizens
Right.
And
to
that's,
get rid of a mattress.
Mhm.
yeah. It was not pretty when that all happened.
Mhm. And I believe that there is funding available for them to use to recoup costs of dump runs, like if they needed to, I'm not sure, but.
I don't know, but even if they, I mean, even if they had a dumpster
Right.
for a day, it's a tax write-off, so.
Right.
Yeah, you can just get a skip in,
Yeah.
maybe
Yeah.
go there
Yep.
for a day and get it picked up.
Mhm.
I just didn't feel it was right that the property taxpayers of the town cover a burden like that.
So they're gonna be notified like tomorrow. That, no, we're not accepting that. So who's gonna do that?
I'll try to find somebody.
I'll try to find somebody.
2 mattresses per household.
Well, we can, I mean, it can always be posted too. but
Post it on
I,
the town.
Yeah,
yeah,
Yeah, I'll,
Post it on the town.
we can post it on the town page
Yeah.
too. In preparation for cleanup. We want to remind everybody on the dumpster availability, 2 mattresses per household.
do they have the second?
what's up?
Do they have the second dumpster in there?
There was one this morning.
There was one there was one extra one. The one was delivered on, it was there on Saturday.
Yeah, it was the end of last week that it came, but
But then there were 2 more that were coming this week, right?
supposed to be, yeah. I just didn't know if they were there yet.
Mhm. Okay.
Alrighty. So there's that.
Okay. Marijuana establishment permits. All right, I know that a slew of emails had come through. Yep, about that.
Is he sneezing?
I don't think that's right.
I don't think that was him.
Choking one down.
So, all right, so it looks like. And I'm gonna probably pronounce names wrong. I apologize in ahead of time. Dunoir LLC.
Junior,
Say that again?
junior.
Junior, okay.
Yeah,
thank
it's
you.
kind of like junior, but with a
Like-
D.
Junior with a D. All right, thank you. Thank you for that pronunciation. And so Junior LLC, Ryan, can you say the last name for me?
It's Tancred.
Cancrete, okay. So, so this is for the retail sale of medical marijuana on 11 Town Farm Road as caregivers. So you guys had a public meeting. I had gotten the minutes for the public meeting. And from what I understand, there were some neighbor, abutting landowner concerns about the business, about signage, storefront visibility, security, floodlight management, odor control, potential customer traffic, and the overall property devaluation. And I'm seeing nodding heads in front of me, so I'm assuming that you guys are abutting landowners. Okay, do you guys want to speak more to the concerns that you had or your experience at the public meeting?
The experience at the planning board meeting was fine. I'm under the impression that there were a couple contingencies that were given for that, and are thankful that they could address some of our needs. I really don't know how to explain except to say that we are definitely in opposition. Residing in the town since 1987, I bought my property in 91. Raised a couple children all the way through kindergarten, high school. They could walk up that road and get on the bus and no problems. We're just worried about property. We're worried about traffic, what it's going to do to the future of our family, first families. Hopefully we got some grandchildren on the way, and we're looking to reside in the town until it's done. But I'm really concerned about what this might lead into, and basically, I think the town, if I could say this, probably doesn't really want this. A lot of people that I've talked to, that's just my opinion. But I think that how do I say it professionally? But it's just something that is not desired by us as neighbors, and we're really worried about the impacts of our future. And it's kind of sad to the point where we have bought property, we have put a lot of money into our property from our standpoint. And is it fair for someone from an outside to come in and nice into the town? And I remember from the meeting that they had said that they've been wanting to do this for a while. They've been doing some research for a long time, and because of the situation we can't, I think they found a spot. And I mean, in layman terms, that's, to me, it's kind of stalking in a way. And I think you set them, and I know it's the way the cookie crumbles. It's how things were voted on. It's how things happen. I'd just like to say that we're in 100% opposition, and if there's any way to visit that moratorium or meeting the subject. Just worried about the future of the income. Small town, big car, I just need to get step. We don't come to the meetings as much as we should, but again, we're definitely guilty of that. I just want to end saying thanks, you guys know what to do, governing the town. We're just concerned, we are worried about it.
Okay, any other comments on it?
Well, I feel the same way that Sean does. My husband and I moved here 53 years ago to live in a small rural town. And we lived in Livermore Falls, where you looked out your window into your neighbor's window. We didn't want that, so we moved here, and we've been happy here. But now I feel like, you know, am I a residential area now? Or if this goes in, is this now a commercial area? I want to be a residential. I don't want to be in a commercial area. I'm a widow now, so I'm concerned about being by myself. I don't know, you know, there's a lot more people coming on that road now. You know, the planning board certainly addressed some of our concerns, and that's good. And they changed the lighting down to residential, but are we residential or are we commercial if they're next door? Yeah, I'm worried about property evaluation. You know, what is our property gonna be worth? And I also think that there was not a lot of I don't know how to say this. It was not, it wasn't always truthful what was said at the planning board meeting. I know they're living there. I live next door. Sean lives next door with them. So, I think if they're not truthful right at the beginning, what does that mean? They say, okay, I'm only gonna do this, but in the future, what is gonna happen?
Mhm. Okay. Ryan, Ryan, are you on?
Yes.
Do you have any comments to say, as far as the concerns that have been brought up, or, you know, anything that's happened at the planning board meeting?
On the planning board meeting, so the one that we had prior, nope, it all went good. I thought I was able to explain that I wanted to have a home run business that was essentially no different than someone knitting in their garage. I didn't want it to be a big thing, nothing that anyone knows or sees. And it's just a production facility that's able to wholesale outwards and provide for cancer patients and veterans and maybe a few close relatives. As for traffic on the road, that's all of our close friends and relatives. We do have quite a large family. We have maybe 7 to 10 different people that come out here and visit us. So I guess someone new moving in does mean more traffic.
Mhm. Well, so from what I'm seeing is like you guys had said that you didn't want a storefront. There's no outside props. You want to manage it as a home business. So there would be no. I guess my question is, how would people know that you're there other than word of mouth?
So as the way like the cannabis industry works, a caregiver that ideally has a storefront, they usually sell out and they need to have more product. So I can go to different dispensaries and I can talk with them in person and I can offer them the products and wholesale to them. So they're able to get the product out to the customers. But I do like the idea of trying to one-on-one and help people that actually need help and understand what the plant could do for them.
So you're looking to have an indoor grow operation and sell to dispensaries with a couple of people, family members and people who know you go into the house and getting stuff from you.
Exactly. So not any like strangers or, you know, a bunch of random people. It's people I know on a very personal level that actually come over to our house. And they don't just kind of show up to like buy marijuana either. They will show up to like hang out and talk and like see how we're doing. And like I'm about to have babies, so everything's kind of new right now and people are kind of rotating around and excited, and yeah, there's a lot.
Okay, and I know Carol has a question for
Well,
you.
I'm just curious, if you're planning on selling to other retailers, how does that still qualify under the caregiver where you're limited to the number of patients?
So the caregiving thing is kind of a weird spectrum for medical industry. You can either get a operation license that allows a 500 square foot unlimited plant count. They got rid of the patient thing, by the way. That's one of the outdated rules and laws. So you don't no longer have a 6 patient limit. It's now under the guidelines of buying the plant count license. So I originally went with a 36 plant count licensed here to try to do an outdoor crop, and I realized it's not going to work out in that area, and I don't like the idea of outdoor weed. So we decided we were going to go fully indoor, and we're actually purchasing a smaller operations here for this following license period. But with that, I'm able to be a wholesaler, and I can wholesale to other caregivers so they can resell the product.
So you're looking for a smaller license than what your original 36 plant license was?
Just for now, until I'm able to use more interior space, because I don't plan on having a 500 square foot license, but whatever amount of plants I can fit in a smaller area than that could range drastically. It just matters of the style of everything on how you're growing the product.
So I have a question. So the fenced in area that you have at your house, that does not have marijuana plants in it?
That currently has mine and my wife's recreational marijuana plants because it flooded out this year when we were originally trying to start the outdoor crop. And we decided we would leave just the few plants in there so we had something for ourselves. It was intended, yes, but it doesn't have the production that it was planning on it. And the recreational side of everything is completely different.
Okay.
So would you essentially then be growing both, it just would be what your sales would be your indoor stuff, and you're still gonna have outdoor
Exactly.
plants yourself?
Yes, the outdoor plant for just ourselves.
I thought one of the recommendations was no outdoor.
Would you agree with that?
And the second question I've got is he saying that anybody that went to his house with a medical card, he would not sell that?
Did you hear that, Ryan?
I was barely able to understand what it was. What was that?
So the question was, go ahead.
Which, if anybody came to you with a medical card to purchase marijuana and you didn't know them, you're saying you would turn them away and turn their money away?
Yes, I don't like visitors, and that's why the property's posted and it doesn't have a welcoming feel to you. We've turned down actually a few people that were camping out on the backside of the road. When we did have the plants out there originally, and I guess they were able to smell the plants, they came over and they were trying to bug us and we shoot them away. So no, we don't want people around.
Well, we have a list of questions here, I'll be honest. One of the questions is, where's the wastewater from your production? How is that handled?
So there's actually no water output from the production that we're currently doing. We're doing a semi-living soil. So we only add just enough water to keep the soil moist. So there's no output of water coming from it.
Well, this also states that you have no septic on the premises.
No, we are currently waiting for the septic planners to be able to actually come out and do it. We put the plan in about 2 months ago for them to come out and essentially give us the okay.
When does he pull the permit for a septic?
Did you hear that one?
Permit for a septic. Yeah, we're waiting for the planners to come out and do so. We don't currently have a septic, no. That's why we're not living here full time. We're kind of in the process of moving in.
Okay. So you would need to do a permit for the septic when that happens.
Yeah,
Through
we
the
did
town.
So the marijuana operation has nothing to do with the septic essentially, because we could be pulling water right out of the stream and throwing it into the living soil. And if you're actually concerned about septic, we have an outhouse that's to an outhouse code. It's just, it hasn't been fully approved. We're waiting for that $700 bill.
Yeah, no. I'm talking about when you do the septic for your residential living space. To complete a permit through the town. As part of that ordinance. That's all I was mentioning.
Yeah.
Educational
We're just
stuff.
doing things step by step.
Okay.
Well, going back to the step by step, how did you get the state license when you bypassed the town of Canton's requirements?
So this town of Canton required me to have an operation permit and everything to be able to start everything with the proceedings. The town, or for the state of Maine, I was able to do everything because it doesn't ask you for essentially a town permit or permission until you renew your operation license at the end of the year. So in the initial application, when it asked me for the 15 different things or so, I had to submit all the LLCs, all the business stuff, all the tax information, everything else in between, including the background checks. Then they finally were able to send out the thing and certify me.
Well, because it says in order to receive a state license, applicant must obtain proof of local authorization from the municipality where such store will be located.
The online application.
Also last year when we started like all this whole process and everything, I think we just had outdoor plants maybe. I went into the town and I did ask if we needed to do like anything for that. And it was during the time of employee switches, I guess. So it was very chaotic and I was told I didn't need anything. So when we restarted this whole process again, I came in to like make sure that we were actually good. And I was like, hey, do I actually not need anything or do I need stuff? And then this whole ball started. So.
Okay.
I'm not comfortable approving this right now, because it just seems to be too many irregularities. And I would like to know what, if we have any legal basis for supporting their concerns. I mean. There's been a lot of, I feel a lot of irregularities and how things have been handled and so on.
I need to look more into like state regulations on caregiver stuff. The only thing I had time to look up before this meeting was what our local municipality can and can't do in regard to registered caregivers.
So if I can add anything, I could gladly help and direct you to any information you may need. I've been in the legal cannabis industry for about 8 years now. Technically, we're not even supposed to use the word marijuana because it's actually been outlawed as a derogatory term. The main cannabis office, or they call it OCP, so Office of Cannabis Policy, used to be called Office of Marijuana Policy, and it's been changed. But if you'd like to know any further information, we can help you out. My license is up for renewal at the end of the month, meaning that if I don't have any sort of permission or I guess, provisional permit or something along those lines, I will have to close down my operations.
The conditional one.
We have a,
The conditional
Oh.
has ran out.
the conditional.
Yes, my permit did run out, meaning that I'm kind of here at a standstill waiting to see if I can get a permit to proceed operations. Otherwise, I need to shut down until I can renew my operation with the state of Maine. I have, I believe, until the end of October before my state of Maine one expires, but I have to start the renewal process at the end of September.
Gotcha. Yeah, I mean, we could revisit this at our next meeting, which is on, what's the date of our next meeting?
14.
No.
This is the
I skipped
14th
a
meeting,
meeting.
the 28th, so.
I believe there is a timeline. I'm pretty sure if you look in the ordinance, you don't have, that you have a leeway.
Yeah,
Yeah, we have 30 days since
30
we
days.
addressed it at our meeting.
Have a right.
So we have a 30-day window.
Yeah.
Before we have to act,
okay,
so.
right, so we have 30 days from this
Right.
point on to make a final decision.
So the
I
28th.
The 28th, we can make that decision at our next meeting. I personally want to do some more research on medical cannabis caregiving. Aside from what us as a local municipality can and can't do, as far as, stores, dispensaries, caregiving licenses and stuff like that. So, I personally would like to do that research, for myself before I can make,
Could we
a
have,
decision I'm comfortable with.
could we have the planning board present at that as well?
Yeah,
Because I think they probably have some good input just from what they've done with it.
I would like the next planning boards to be at that meeting too, yeah. Yep. Okay. So if you guys could join us at the September 28th meeting, we can have, we'll continue on the discussion with more information and the planning board as well present. And we can make a final decision at that point.
Alrighty, sounds like a plan.
It sounds like a plan as long as I'm not in the hospital giving birth.
Oh, well, I hope you're not in the hospital giving birth.
Well, you may hope.
Because their conditional permit has run out, they cannot sell. Am I right now until something happens?
I would assume.
Or, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, if that's what our ordinance,
Well, I'm asking, he
yeah,
doesn't have the permit to do it.
right.
So is this meaning he cannot sell at this time?
That would be my understanding, but
That would be my understanding
this
too.
is all new, so.
But again, right, this is the first time we've encountered something like this. So are you unable to sell without the permit from us?
So it's a weird gray area. I haven't been trying to push it because I've been just trying to do everything by the books. It seems like there's a decent amount against me, even though I'm just trying to help people. That was kind of the goal when I got into the industry all those years ago. So yeah, I'm just kind of on a standstill. I have my production going because I don't just turn off the lights and lose everything I have. If for whatever reason I have to actually shut down my operation, then I just have to dispose of the product, which essentially means I can take it as my own and use it as my own, or I can just throw it away to my chickens. But regardless, I have to actually close down the operations because the state could inspect me at any point if my license is out.
All right, so we'll be back on the 28th and revisit this discussion.
Are they able to attend? Did they?
Are you able to, well, as long as you're not in the hospital having a child, are you able to attend the meeting in person?
Yeah, if it's the same time frame, we can make plans to actually attend it, yes.
6 p.m. on the 28th.
Yeah.
Perfect. Thank you. Okay, moving on
Thank
to
you for
the
sharing your
next.
concerns.
I just wanted to tell you that your next agenda is already full.
Right, my next, thank you. We can't add any more else to the next agenda.
Would like something, a small thing to add on the next agenda, as town of Livermore is our on account customer for gasoline and diesel at Brennan's Variety. I would like to know about if town of Canton is willing to open an account with us for gasoline. We can do it at Canton Variety, and I'm planning to put a diesel tank here too. But until then, we have Brennan's Variety that can make up an account for town, and I can even get a recommendation from town of Livermore, who does all their fire engines and snow trucks, everything.
We have our own diesel tanks
Yeah,
at the garage.
Okay.
So if we were going with the gas vehicles,
Yeah.
would we be charged? We got the sewer truck.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, and the sewer tractor, I believe, is also, I think, it may not, but anyways, lawnmowers. Would we be charged pump price or would we be getting a discount?
So as our pump price are already lowered.
Right,
on the
yeah,
roof,
know that,
Like
yeah.
we have the lowest price, it would be the pump price.
Okay.
Yeah. And we bill them every month.
Mhm.
They have like $8,000 of the limit, but that's not a concern for if it's a town account.
Yeah,
And
okay.
we just bill them every month. Every driver gets a receipt, signature and vehicle number.
What does Public Works do now? For lawnmowers and stuff, just anywhere?
Yes,
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So.
So.
Something that you
Yeah,
might want to
and-
talk to Angie about.
yeah, we have the Wex cards that are used, well, I think they primarily use the Big Apple, sorry. But
Okay, well,
But it's-
thank you.
something to consider,
Mhm.
so thank you for that.
Thank you.
Okay, I got this letter. That's the next thing on the agenda. After much thought, I have decided to leave my position as deputy clerk for the town of Canton. Under the circumstances, I do not feel that working a full 2-week notice is beneficial for anyone unless the board feels differently. My last day will be Monday, September 18th, 2023. It has been a pleasure to serve the townspeople of Canton, and I wish you the best of luck. Thank you, Tara J. Perry. So I have a resignation letter. And I would make a motion, if anybody wants to make a motion to accept it.
Roger did.
Okay, so I got a motion, can I get a second?
Second.
Carol, second. Any discussion? other than we need to now post the position.
Yes. And we will be doing an exit interview with her
Okay,
after talking to Brian. Yes.
As
So- Yeah,
mhm. Go ahead, Kristen.
Oh, no, that's fine.
So, all right, so I got a motion and a second. All those in favor? Opposed? No one? So, I mean, my thoughts are we need to post as soon as like possible. Like, yeah, yesterday, whoever whispered that, I agree. Yeah, this is unfortunate.
Not to push this out, but if you're talking about job descriptions,
Right,
make sure this one the way you want it before you post it.
it was just redone in 22, so,
Okay.
yeah, no, I know, I'm just saying that.
I think based on the discussion that Brian and I had, there was a lot of gray area that needs to be nailed down. That's the whole job description thing. That's why it came up that way. So I think we just need to sit down and nail down specifics.
So as you and Brian being the liaison to the office, I think that it would, I personally think that'd be a good idea for you, Brian, and Angela to sit down to kind of talk about what that position is gonna look like.
Yeah,
I mean, I think we need to post it.
But we can't really post it without a description.
We can post it with the description that we have.
Right, we can do that, right, but.
And then we can make tweaks to
Correct.
the definition.
the definition
Yeah.
of that specific stuff.
Right.
Depending on what is decided with all the job descriptions and in the interview process, whoever the candidates are that
Mhm.
apply too. I think they definitely need to have.
Yeah.
Some input. So. Can we get that posted
ASAP.
like tomorrow? Thank you.
I just sent an email that includes you guys to address the planning board, giving the notice that we are requested to come.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Because I know one travels to give it a heads up of.
Yeah. Oh, well, thank you. Thank you. Okay, you're up next for international.
When this was initially talked about and we knew we had a bunch of work done. We had the estimate of 10,000 and we, I believe. Voted to take it out of equipment reserve, but did we, if you remember. Did we vote with the amount on it of? Yeah, but so anyways, if the bill is. The bill is much more than 10,000. It is 15,691.40. So.
It's almost. $7 more.
Yeah, you want to see the list? When your bill probably required extra postage to send? Yeah.
No. No, we knew there was a lot wrong. with
Yes,
it.
and it may still have to go back for one other issue. So. Yeah, but anyways, so do we still want to take that? The increased amount out of equipment reserve?
Our budget guru number guy is not here right now. Do you know how much is there?
I do not know, but I know. In 5 seconds, I'll know what we voted for then. Oh. Really, there's
You guys had a motion to spend up to a certain amount.
I can't remember, so just to be,
When did it go? When was it?
Yeah, I don't even.
it was up there for quite a while, so it would have been either May or June. Probably closer to May.
This past May?
Yeah. We put 25,000 into it this year, so, yes.
Okay,
Not that I want to drain that account, but we gotta pay the bill.
yep. And if we need to, yeah, if something else comes up, we can always look at.
Yeah, then you split it at all, take the 10,000 from the reserve and 5, whatever, I'm just asking.
Yeah,
I don't know if that makes sense or not.
Yeah, is there another
Is
5?
that sensible, is that not sensible?
So I'm not sure.
Is there another, I mean, you don't, do we have an option, I guess is my question, what are our options? Can we or not?
I don't, if I knew what our carryover amount was, we could possibly do that, but I don't, so maybe we take it out of reserves for now and then we can refill reserves.
I'll make a motion
Go ahead.
that we pay the entire bill out of equipment reserves. That's where you had
Yep.
originally done it, right?
Yep.
With the option of, once we get the carryovers and see what's actually there, maybe replenishing it. But for the most time being, pay that bill out of equipment reserve
Sounds good.
of 15,600, whatever you said.
15,560 something maybe, I don't remember. 15,691.40.
So I got Rob made a motion and Christie seconds. Any other? I like that idea too.
Yeah.
And when
Other
we get to
discussion?
doing carryovers and stuff, we can look at it and see.
Yeah.
And maybe put it back.
Yeah, so all those in favor? Oh. Okay. And that's what we'll do. All right. Moving on to the approval of warrants. So I have accounts payable warrant 16 for $38,000.
Thank you.
$940.40.
Thank you guys.
Oh, I found it, Morrison, Morrison,
Please come back on the 28th.
around 9,000, take the money from equipment reserve fund. And we made a
They quoted us
motion and
9,000.
seconded it from the equipment reserve fund for 9,033.53.
Yeah, so we rescind that motion and go with what we.
Yeah.
Pay the difference out of.
Yeah.
Go on.
Yep. Okay. So approval of warrants, accounts payable warrant 16, $38,940.40. Payroll warrants 15, $5,735.69. And 17 is $5,124.21.
That goes to Angie.
Can I get a motion?
Make a motion to approve is read.
Second,
A motion and a second, any discussions?
so we need to, did you do 18?
No, she.
Oh, no, I didn't. I skipped over that one. And accounts payable warrant 18 for $51,043.55. Can I get an amended motion to include?
I amend my motion to include our warrant 18.
Okay, and a motion and a second. Any discussion?
I don't know.
All in favor?
Yeah.
You guys voting?
All in favor?
Yeah.
Opposed?
I'm voting.
Okay,
No worries, this is bad.
no more public comments.
That's just.
Any committee reports?
I have one for Parks and Trails.
Okay, Parks and Trails.
The haunted walk. Is the trail in good enough shape to do something, and do we want to do something? We need to try and start making decisions about if we want to do it or not.
The guys cleaned it all. They did clean it all. That being said, it's probably slippery as I get out. Would be my biggest concern. So,
Slippery, like because it's wet?
yeah,
Is there a lot of mud and debris left on the trail itself?
I don't know that. I know they had cleaned it as far as debris, et cetera. June-ish or so, and I don't believe it's gone underwater since then. I don't think, but I don't know. So,
Mhm.
Robin, did you have anything to add to that? For Parks and Rec?
No, it's just. We need to decide about Halloween and if we're gonna do the haunted walk, and we may need to do the haunted walk, it's gonna have to be more people.
Well, I think we should do it.
And I don't know. I don't know, I understand Mr. Wayne is making on the walk.
yes, yeah.
But I have to get in contact with him to see if they want to play in the year. That's a big factor.
I think the first step, obviously, is we're gonna have to walk the trail and see if it is clean, I do know that, but
And it may be better depending.
Right.
Because all the rain.
Yeah,
that first
and we're-
section,
yeah, we're supposed to get drenched on Wednesday as well, so.
I mean, my personal opinion is I wish the trail would dry right up and that we have it. Because it's awesome and I love
I know,
it.
it's such a great event.
It's
It's
a
pretty
great
fun to be
event.
hiding out in the woods scaring people, I will say that.
And you don't run. I can tell you that.
So it sounds like everybody's supporting it, so we
Yeah.
have to move forward.
Reach out to him.
Yeah.
I personally liked how we did the trunk or treat and walk combined. Because we were able to do both. We were able to go on the walk and then we were able to hand out candy. So it was,
New lunch.
And there were
Yeah.
some people who hated that.
I know.
And what night, you need to decide that,
Oh, yeah.
that's a big.
I don't even know what day Halloween.
Halloween is on like a Monday or Tuesday. I knew it was during the week, so,
So the 28th. On Saturday.
Yeah, that's a Saturday.
yeah, the 28th. That'd be a perfect day.
I know town of Clinton is doing their trunk or treat like 1 to 3 during the day,
Mm-hmm.
which might be an option.
We tried last year, remember, an earlier time for like special needs, I forget what we call it, and nobody really came.
Right.
Yeah, that was wasted time. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. And the little kids do come before it gets darker out,
Right.
but they also like to hang around and go through when it's dark out too.
No, but I mean, if we did the trunk or treat, say early, then we,
That's it, do the trunk or treat,
Right.
say, 3-5, and then the haunted trails 6 to 8.
exactly, that's where, is to try and break it up, so we aren't quite so volunteer cramped.
Yeah, and you have an hour of daylight for the trunk or treat
Yeah,
by that time.
Yeah. Short, quick, huh?
Mhm. Yeah, no, I like that idea.
Yeah, that way we can play and play.
yeah.
Mhm.
Cool.
Yep,
That's all I have.
and I'll be, so, okay, so that's it for you, Christie. Rob,
No.
any committee reports? No, Carol?
No, I
No.
don't, we talked about playing in the stumps.
Yeah, and I do have on the recreation committee side that soccer is going well. I've seen some positive comments and feedback on Facebook. It's late.
Yes, yes, it is.
So they are going good, and I know I checked in with Kim and she said that Danielle was doing a really good job running soccer, so,
She's a good kid.
yeah. So Danielle Stevens, sorry. So she's, she has spearheaded soccer for us this year, running the whole program, and she's doing a really good job. And then that's it. I don't have anything else, and,
I'll add one thing.
oh,
Sorry, go ahead.
It's not my technical department, but I got a message from Jason today. We may have the tanker by the end of October.
Oh,
Nice.
but it's at least a May. That's more than we've gotten so far.
Hey, yeah, actually, it's decals.
Oh, that's good.
Yeah, well, it's coming. That's
It's
good news.
maybe by the end of October.
Maybe by the end of October. For Halloween, there you go. Okay, Angie?
The FEMA stuff for the roads, I had a call, since I was a point person, I guess, for them with, what's her name? With a representative from FEMA, and she, they basically got us started with the stuff that they're gonna need. There's a whole list of stuff that they're gonna need, stuff I can't answer. So I know I'm gonna have to have some help either with you and Carol or Andy or Bob or anybody who will help. They were in October, when she comes back from being on leave, there is a site visit. They're actually gonna come here to the garage with a whole cast of characters to be with you. So again, I don't know what they're gonna need, but there is a ton of information that they're requesting that I'm gonna need help with, so.
Is that in a, like a PDF or
Yeah,
format that you can send?
Yes, because she sent it to me.
Okay.
So I'll forward that on to both of you.
Yeah.
Okay.
I wasn't involved with the paperwork side of it, but I'll help wherever I can. I don't know.
Anything I get, I'm keeping in a folder, and it's called Mayday Storm, so just so you guys know.
Yeah, because any money we could get back from them,
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, because I made sure that
because we're losing out on.
we made sure, because
Yeah.
you were on board at that point, that
Mm-hmm.
they took pictures of everything before they touched it. They took pictures
Good.
afterwards.
That's
They
what they
kept
gotta
track
have.
of the hours. They kept track of the loads of
It
gravel.
was Andy's first day on the job.
I know. I don't know why he didn't just run for the
Their
hills.
first day on the job.
Look at all that inside.
I showed up at the garage and said, welcome aboard. If you have any questions, you got a busy day ahead of you.
Yeah. Yeah, hope you brought your rain boots.
So,
Is
yeah,
that the one that included all the hills too?
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
it was Alden, Canton Mountain.
There's 12
Can't
minutes.
Yeah, it was pretty flipping ridiculous.
All right. Anything else? Any other board questions, comments?
No, I
No?
make a motion to adjourn.
Oh, I got a motion to adjourn. Do I got a second?
Second.
You want to copy those?
I forgot how to sign my name for a second. All those in favor?
Yeah.
Any discussion? No? All those in favor? Okay, opposed? Get out. Have.
You want me to copy it?
Meeting adjourned.
What's that?
Yeah, it was before wrestling type then. Because it was duplicate.